This is a News 2 digital exclusive.
On April 22, 2018, just before 3:30 a.m., a gunman entered a South Nashville Waffle House. He was nude except for a green trench coat. In his hands, a Bushmaster AR-15. In less than 45 seconds, 4 people were fatally wounded, 2 were severely injured, and 7 others were deeply traumatized. Others would have likely died or been hurt had it not been for a then 29-year-old from North Nashville, James Shaw Jr., and his best friend, Brennan McMurray, who also survived the shooting, went to church less than 6 hours after the incident. We sat down with the friends where they worshiped that morning. They told us after a Saturday night out, they went looking for an early morning meal, a task that proved more difficult and more fateful than either could have imagined.
Went to a Taco Bell first.
Yeah, see, no one knows that really.
It's the first time we actually ever told you all this. We went to a Taco Bell first, but because of the hour, we were out. Taco Bell was closed. Then we went to Waffle House off of Bell Road. Bell Road had too many people in it.
We
walked around. Yeah. Some ruckus going on, not like the ruckus that we eventually ensued to go into, but finally went to the Waffle House where the shooting took place off of Murfreesboro Pike.
James Shaw and Brennan B.J. McMurray have been best friends since high school.
That's really where the Brennan James show came from.
The Saturday night before the shooting, they went to a party together.
I was only out because of him, because it was his fraternity's party.
After the party, they went to Taco Bell, but since the restaurant was closed, they went to a Waffle House on Bell Road near the interstate.
Some told us to leave that one. There was actually seats that we're about to sit down into at Waffle House, at the first one.
Should have stayed
there. Should have stayed, yeah, maybe.
The friends finally end up at another Waffle House about 15 miles south of downtown Nashville. It was new and had only opened a few months prior. It was a decision that would seal their fate.
You got to think about both sides. God put us there for a reason.
For sure.
He had to have.
South Nashville, all cars. We got a code 9000 at 3571 Murfreesboro Pike, across the Penland Road at the Waffle House. There's a female location saying there's a male white who has no clothing on, that's shooting at the location.
At 3:19 a.m., the Metro Nashville Police Department says Travis Ranking parked his pickup truck outside of the Waffle House and sat in his vehicle for about 3 or 4 minutes.
I mean, we saw him in the truck walking in. I think every day why he didn't shoot us then.
Metro Police say Ranking then got out and began shooting. Brennan and James are inside the restaurant and run for cover.
I yelled in the hallway, everyone get into the restroom, and pushed this lady and her friend into the restroom. I'm in the bathroom with 2 people I don't know.
He later learns one of the people in the bathroom is Abedi De Silva. De Silva was at the restaurant with his brother Aquila, who later died from a gunshot wound to his arm. The 2 brothers were separated when the shots rang out.
I just ran to wherever I could see cover. When I got in the bathroom, first thing I thought of was, damn, I ran in the bathroom, I gotta go get my brother, you know? But as soon as I was about to run out of the bathroom is when it was more shots.
So we get in there and literally it's doom, 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 doom. You just hearing and listen, I've been around, I've been to a gun range before, I've done all these things, but I've never experienced walls shaking, and this is real action going on.
All we did was back up into the bathroom, and cause he's like, don't go out there. And I'm just like, all right. And I'm just scared and I'm just embracing whatever's about to happen.
And he's like, hey man, my brother, I was like, listen man, my best friend's in the bathroom outside. I don't know where he is. I was like, but if we open this door, he's right there, done dado.
He sat on the toilet. It was like an automatic toilet and the toilet flushed.
We're in the bathroom trying to stay incognito, and then the toilet flushes. So anybody who's logical is gonna be like, well, somebody's in the bathroom.
At that moment, I'm just like, man, I'm about to lose my life. I'm about to die. So I'm just like, it's a big bathroom. So I'm just like, man, hopefully he might miss or whatever. But I'm just like, I mean, we're nowhere to go.
And then finally it stops. Just like that, where it just got really quiet. And then the toilet flushed again.
When it flushed, that was probably maybe one of the most frantic moments I've had in my life. And that right there could have killed me. It could have alerted the person out there shooting. Yeah.
Meanwhile, James is watching the shooter through a small glass window in the door that separates the restrooms from the restaurant.
Well, I was gonna die. In my head, I was already dead. So I decided I was just gonna fight. That's pretty much it. I was gonna either die or I was gonna live to see another day. And I heard that voice say, do it now. And I was through the door.
While the shooter is reloading, James wrestles the gun away, throws it over the counter, and then pushes the gunman out the front door. The gunshots stop.
So finally we open the door and we're like two little peeking out the door trying to see. And then that's when we looked down and saw the empty gun clip and the door, and then the glass is shot out.
Brennan runs out of the bathroom to look for James. Abedi runs out and finds his brother Akila bleeding.
I was just telling him it was gonna be okay, he was gonna be okay.
James runs past Abedi and Akila to search for Brennan, whom he also calls BJ.
I'm yelling for BJ. Somebody said, is this him over here? That wasn't him. Stepped over his body, walked back to the back, and I finally see BJ. He's pale, white, scared, and nobody knows what I've done in that moment, in that second.
While James saved many lives that night, 4 people did not survive. 23-year-old Akila De Silva died from blood loss at Vanderbilt Medical Center. 21-year-old D'Ebony Groves, a senior at Belmont University, was killed while seeking cover under a table. 29-year-old Torian Sanderlin was working that night. He was shot and killed outside the restaurant while taking a smoke break. And 20-year-old Joe Perez, who moved to Nashville from Texas mere months before the shooting, was also shot and killed outside the restaurant.
And probably for the first 2 or 3 months, I still could see Joe laying on the concrete.
As soon as you walk out the door, you see Joe Perez. Eyes open, gray.
Looking at you while you walk out the door.
James and Brennan go to the hospital, where James is treated for burns he sustained while grabbing the hot barrel of the AR-15. Then, the friends go home. The incident is on the news, and word begins to spread about a hero who stopped a mass shooter.
I went home, and it was just stuffy. My dad was looking at me like he never looked at me before. My sisters were looking at me like, are you okay? Because it had came on the news, and I was telling them, I said, yeah, they was calling me the patron at the time. Nobody knew who I was at first.
That patron rushed him.
As soon as they did, it was James Shaw. First person to call me was the mayor. I had to delete my phone number off Facebook and everything for my electrical business. I had like 800 text messages, 1,000 missed calls, 1,000 voicemails. The only time I had seen somebody's picture like that on Instagram was when somebody died. I literally saw my picture like 20 times. I could flip up my screen like this on that day. And so to see all of that and at the same time try to deal with what's going on in my head.
Overwhelmed, James decides to go to church.
So when he called me and was like, hey, I'm going to church, you coming?
Jefferson Missionary Baptist Church has been at this corner in North Nashville for over 130 years. James's family belonged here before he was even born.
The reason I came here and I invited him to come here because I needed that energy, I needed that support that I get from my church family.
It was like night and day. And if you think about the event that happened tonight, then to come to something so bright as a church and the people around this day, it was good. It's the only place that made sense to go, quite honestly.
I don't think anybody in the church yet actually knew what was going on. until Pastor kind of said it.
Ironically, the sermon I preached was titled, I Have a Testimony, and it was from Psalm 118, verses 10 through 14. And what a testimony James had that morning.
And the mayor walked in, and everything had started kind of rolling, and people started putting it together.
James is quickly thrust into the spotlight, and strangers know Brennan's face and name. A week after the shooting, Brennan learns his wife is pregnant, and the news quickly puts things into perspective.
I mean, realistically, I could have not made it to see my newborn daughter. I don't know why we were there, don't know why I was there, don't know why he was there. But if I don't make it out of that situation, thankful to him, my daughter is fatherless. My son, who's 4, he's fatherless. My newlywed wife, we're going on almost 2 years now. She's husbandless, and now she's tendered to raise 2 kids.
Every day I live past this situation, it means more and more and more to me. Because like you said, he put us here. I don't know what my purpose is. Clearly I have not fulfilled it for him. I've not met his journey. But it means so much that I'm still here. And I have the ability to walk and talk with a sound mind and kiss my wife, kiss my kids, kiss my mother and father still. That means a lot to me. And so I don't take that for granted. I don't take this guy for granted.
But the friends say they still struggle with survivor's guilt and trauma.
There's a lot of stuff that goes on when the cameras is off that people don't see. To be honest, people don't know that I have PTSD. People don't know that I've had flashbacks every single day since the incident. I see dead people on my floor walking when I'm get up in the morning, of the families, that is. I see shadows at night, stuff that I used to do before I don't do anymore, because I can't take my life for granted. It kind of feels like life is kind of like in a sandglass. There is a part of James that unfortunately died that day.
They still think about the tragedy every day.
Every morning is normally for me. Night doesn't affect me as much as it used to. Our master bedroom overlooks the steps to go down in our townhome. And probably for the first 2 or 3 months, I still could see Joe laying on the concrete. And then for some reason, I could always see things walking up the stairs. After a lot of prayer, therapy, realizing that Xfinity does a great job in my home security system. I don't see those shadows as much, but there are nights. Monday night was one of them. I was tired, stressed from work, dealing with a lot. And I looked up and saw something moving in the staircase, and I was like, close your eyes and go back to sleep. You don't tell your wife things like that all the time, you know, just because you don't want her to worry about you as much.
Yeah. I'm just trying to be as, I guess the word is, as vulnerable as possible, so people really know what's really going on, you know. Something as simple as me getting out the shower, and then after you get out the shower, you dry off, and he was naked. So for a period of time, and still sometimes to this day, when I get off and I dry myself off, if I look into the mirror, I'm in the nude, I'll have a flashback of him walking through the door while he's in the nude. I mean, I can't make this stuff up. This is real. And I just deal with it every day, and I deal with, you know, I still see shadows, I still see a figure. I used to like scary movies. Now it's hard for me to watch scary movies. It's hard for me to go to the movie theaters and not have a plan of attack for when I want to exit. Well, how I'm gonna do this, how I'm gonna do that. When I go out with my daughter, how am I gonna protect her, what I'm gonna do here, what I'm gonna do there. When I go out with my mom, my back's never to the door.
Still Still, the friends believe they had to be at that Waffle House on April 22nd, 2018 at 3:24 in the morning.
It was destiny. It was never ever gonna be anything else that's gonna be written.
Yes, I agree with you, it was written. But I think really God used me to get him there. And it's crazy because you go through best friends before, go through a very traumatic experience that I don't think most best friends can say they've ever went through, and then survived, like walked out on your own 2 feet. Everyone didn't get that opportunity, right? And I think that hurts us probably more than people know, that we actually got to walk out together, get in the ambulance together, you know what I mean? Conversate, call our loved ones, see our loved ones the next day, come to church and fellowship. Other people were at hospitals and mourning and doing things like that. And you know, the fact that we were blessed enough to be in that avenue, do what was done, it's a blessing, truly a blessing.
Since then, the friends look to give back to their community and spend more time with family.
Sometimes it's definitely hard to stay positive, but when it's hard to stay positive, usually I try to go see my 36-inch tall bag of fun little girl who immediately will put a smile on my face as soon as I see her, or go talk to kids or something like that. And you know, just one of my coping mechanisms to make me feel better is to go talk to kids and see where their head is and try to make things better.
They still think about the 4 people who couldn't be saved and their families.
The Silvas, they lost a son that night. The Groves family lost a daughter that night. Sanderlin family lost a son that night. Perez family lost a son that night. And all they doing were trying to go get some Waffle House.
Or working.
It's just wild to think of.